Okay, here we go. Let's see. I think we're all set. We're online. I've got my co-hosts here, and they are ready to go. They got hair all over the microphone again, so I think we're pretty much ready to go. Boy, cat hair on everything. All right, hello everybody, and welcome. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures, broadcasting live from my backyard studio here at my home in North Fort Myers, Florida. That's in Southwest Florida. It's like directly across from Palm Beach and West Palm and that on the other coast, on the Gulf of America side. Anyway, tonight I'm going to, as usual, we're going to cover the headlines. We're going to talk about a few different topics, and then I'm going to also be watching the chat room to discuss anything that you guys might want to bring up. All right, I've been busy today. I've gotten several of the alternate streams up on the Starship Adventures channel. And there you go. There's our grid screen for tonight. Lots going on. We've got reports of civil unrest in Portland. However, the views coming out of Portland right now, the upper left and upper right, those clusters, it doesn't seem like there's much going on. Do we got a pursuit? I think we might have a pursuit. Hold on. We got a pursuit. Stand by.
Looks like this is the Imperial.
Okay, hold on. It's going to take me just a second to get everything switched over. All right, we've got a pursuit going on out of California. I'm going to now start to endeavor to get scanner feeds and whatever else I can get for the pursuit. I will not be taking the radio station audio for the most part. They don't like that. I can get away with the video as long as I'm talking over it. That's called fair use. All right, so there you go. We've got a pursuit. I'm working on where this is right now. And I'm also working to see if I can find some other views of it. Because as you know, in LA, we've had as many as 4 different feeds up on the same pursuit. So I don't see anything but the one right now, so we're going to stay on it. Take a little bit here and see what they say.
And he's up on the shoulder, veering wildly between freeway lanes here. We've seen him cut into the carpool lane, drive on the shoulder. On surface streets, he was driving on the wrong side of the road.
All right, so there we go. I'm working to figure out what's going on here. It looks like this is going to be doesn't even say, none of these say where it's at. Let me check Broadcastify. All right, so we do have a pursuit. This is in California. I'm trying to get more information now. But as you know, the internet, it takes time to update. This just started. I'm searching news sources now, sorting by date, and nothing. Okay, so we'll have to go back and check that here in just a few minutes, and hopefully we'll get some information as to what's going on. Let me see if I can monitor this more. It bugs me that YouTube would not automatically assume that I would want something that's live right now. It gives me all kinds of old shit, and I have to go find a filter or something so that I can just get the live results. Ridiculous. I'll never understand why YouTube does that. Oh my God, it's a driver that made a carpool violation. This is ridiculous, a carpool violation. And we're gonna kill somebody over it.
Traffic. We know that this car has been going extremely fast, about 120 miles an hour at times, exclusively on the 10 freeway. And as I say that, it looks like we are finally getting off of the freeway. But again, the want on this was a carpool lane change violation. So all they did was,
It was a carpool lane change violation. They're getting ready to get off here. Looks like, I don't know if I'm ahead or behind on my audio. I get in trouble when I play their audio. If I play their video and I talk over it, it's okay. This guy got caught because he is in a carpool lane and he only had one person in the car. So they're going to end up killing somebody over that probably here. I mean, pursuits are fun, but they're dangerous, you know, and license plate is coming back lost or stolen. I'm checking for other views or other choppers that are up. I'm looking now. My God, he crossed over the solid line into the carpool lane, and that's why they're trying to catch him. Now, obviously the car's stolen or something, but still, the whole thing started over a carpool lane violation. Okay, let me look at the chat room real quick. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. We are live in a pursuit out of California. I'm monitoring to hear what's going on. Huh. A lot of people tend, when they run from the cops, to turn their headlights off, and that just doubles the danger, because now people can't see them, you know, and they think they're going to get away better, but what they don't realize is every time they hit the brakes, their brake lights still come on, so you're probably not going to escape the cops by using that. Oh, he just bumped that car. Signal 4 there. It's like CHP's on it. Let me see if I can get a scanner feed for CHP in LA. What the hell was that? All right. They may have to pull off because of weather. There's a marine layer coming in. They may have to pull off. We had this the other day with one too. The marine layer moved in. The police choppers can be a lot lower, and they can stay under the marine layer a lot of times. But the news choppers have to stay up over, what, 2,000 feet or whatever, 1,200 feet, whatever, 4,000, I don't know. But they have to stay up. And so, the cop choppers sometimes can stay on them. Okay, he just got off, so they may not have to pull off. I'm in the scanner feeds now. I'm looking. God, there is over 50 of them here. I'm looking for any of them that have a lot of...
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor,
okay, I need to switch this.
He knows keeping the line up and
what am I
running
on
is a
here?
top priority. That's why he
Stay with us, guys. I'm trying to keep everything going here.
Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Oh my
Grainger,
God.
for the ones who get it done.
Okay, so we're on D. Cable D. Damn it. D.
Copy. LA 233, pressure, No fire exit. Two more chemical. Engine 2, copy.
Okay, guys, I'm listening to it.
Out of your subject is returning clear.
Okay, so now I gotta set everything for a different one. Oh my god. Windows does not handle sound well.
Correct. Lenses.
C.
Solid.
C.
Non-commercial license. Address out of Casa Grande, Arizona. Also,
C.
here you have a California DL.
Okay, there we go.
With a previous
Where's that audio coming from? Oh, they're going to chase him all the way to the end.
This is Santa Cruz units, shut their response, hitting country 417, 927 feet, 911A, Abelia Road and Begonias Lane. Abelia Road and Begonias Lane, driver in a black Chevy Silverado following the informant, brandished a 417, currently at Shadow Pines and Soledad
Oh, I
Canyon.
don't know.
Turn right.
God, this audio just drives me nuts.
Shadow Pines, Tech 148, 3 and 3. 6-1 and 7, respond country 6-1.
Nebraska. I'm going to be on SR 138 westbound, east of the 5. On Nebraska 64, David, 869.
Copy, Nebraska's waiting on 64, David, 869, 813, westbound, east of 5, stand by.
I give up. Ah, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the hard thing is if this car is stolen, then they won't know who the registered owner is. And so many times when they get into chases, that's one of the things they consider. And it's this person can go out later, you know, what's going to be the deal here. But you still have that sheriff's helicopter looking for these two, and we'll have to see if we can get out here. So I see some flashing lights on, and we pull out just a little bit, see what we're responding to. So that gives us just
Units 3 of the 417, informant at 14827, Begonia. Seven pickup 3479932. Return clear. Registration first 2887. Christopher Jones 29702 Grand New Flores Road.
All right. That is LA Sheriff Air Channel is what you're listening to right now. And that's what they're supposed to be on. I'm looking to see what other feeds have high numbers of listeners.
Santa Cruz units station 65 with the coordinate of Sierra advocating for their cover. Please turn clear with 2011 Chevrolet Suburban.
This is the story of the woman as it happened. Use the plaza.
Squad 130.
See, he's got his lights off. That is so dangerous. So incredibly dangerous. All right, let me set this up on left and right channels.
Copy. We show 130 numbers.
All right, create dashboard. Okay. Oh, add feeds. United States, California, Los Angeles. Okay, that's the pursuit. So we do have the pursuit on scanner. I'm switching us now over to the dashboard scanner so that I can split those two channels left and right for you guys. So let me now go get rid of, let me get rid of these other ones. All right, there we go. So now we're on the dashboard. So now we've got left and right ears split. Okay, there we go. Let's try that. They're in surveillance mode. Uh-oh, he pulled into a gas station. Still blacked out. And he's out again. Cut that one short and bumped the curb again. He keeps doing that. He's not going to have a car left. Of course, it's LA. They'll just carjack another one. All right, let me check the chat room. Sorry, I've been very busy producing. Now let me go back to being host. Let's see here. He's getting an In-N-Out burger. There we go. Hey, everyone. Hey, Gator, Red, Junior, Standard. This should be fun. Neighbor, what's up, everybody? Thank you all for being here tonight. I do appreciate it. We are watching a live pursuit out of California. And I am watching, I'm actually listening to it so that I can give you guys the latest information on it. Yeah, they're filling air. God, I hate that. I'm not going to sit here and just talk to be talking. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with leftovers. And guys, I hate to say it, but I got my Thanksgiving coming tomorrow. I'm going to get my mom, and I'm bringing her down to her home where we're all going to meet, and we're going to have a big turkey dinner. Hi. Yeah, they're, I don't even think they've got any units with lights on behind him right now. They're in like a tracking mode or a surveillance mode, they called it. Okay, so anyway, on the screen, upper right, it's a montage of some of the different feeds out there on other social medias. There's really not much going on. This was supposed to be protests and civil unrest and all that, but I don't see much going on right now. The upper left one was the same thing, and it's now just a guy talking, and there's the 3 or 4 people standing in front of the ICE facility gate there. Again, I think the only people that are doing these protests and showing up for the protests are the YouTubers that are looking for the hits, because there's really nothing there. I don't know where he's going. It's like he's lost. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder. I'm going to refresh this Koch because I think. Alright, I think this thing's about to come to a close. We're buffered out just a little bit here. Also upper in the middle is just whatever news is going on, and the 2 right above me are storm chasers that are up in the snow. I do have Starship After Dark back up. I've got I had 5 feeds going. The SSTV feed just keeps crashing. I don't know. I'm going to reboot that computer back to factory, I think, and start over, because that's the only one I'm having trouble with. The amateur radio feeds for Florida, all over Florida, are up. The 7.2 is up. The Chicago police scanners are up. And earlier today, you can go back and see it, I had all the storm chasers up on a grid for hours. It was really cool. What are you doing, Daddy? Don't step on the keyboard, Daddy. Yeah, I really would appreciate it if you didn't step on the keyboard, Daddy. All right. I got all this help in here. They are great button pushers, but they never press the right buttons. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I guess it's bad. they take me off the air. You'll see it when I go to the big view. You'll see the keyboards all like sitting up, and the mouses are all like on hooks because they can't lay out on the table because they love to lay on these keyboards. And why do they love to lay on these keyboards? They love to lay on these keyboards because they know we hate when they love to lay on these keyboards, and that's pretty much the whole end of it there. All right, and so we'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, well, I don't have music is a real problem here on YouTube. I've been working with Jake at work, and he's making AI music right now. And so I'm looking at ways that I can start using more music. Not all the time, just here and there. Looks like they're chasing him now. On foot. Looks like it's on foot now. You can see the flashlights moving really fast when the cops run. Scuff's doing good. He's up in Tampa area. He's working up there right now. I saw him a couple days ago. He's doing fine. Oh, kitty. You two cut it out. She gets bitchy because this is her room. This is apartment A. She thinks she lives here. And when she got real sick, I let her move in. I got her a litter box and everything, and she lives in here. Well, now when Daddy comes in or Ed Earl comes in, she smacks the shit out of him. She's like, "This is my house, bitch." This chopper was up covering the end of a funeral for a law enforcement officer when this pursuit broke out. Yeah, it's Mama Bleep's house. It's Mama Bleep's she shed. Yeah, that's it. I think the cops should change to red and green during December. I think it'd be very festive. Yeah. I don't put up a lot of Christmas lights, but all of my 12 lights around my house are all smart lights. And so the last week, right around Christmas, they're all red and green, red and green, red and green. My whole yard is red and green. Yeah, they got away on foot. They're looking for him now. It keeps going to another pursuit. I hate that. All right. I don't have any more info coming in, so we're just going to get what we get here. Mama, you keep rolling on the keyboard, and that's not acceptable. He's eating pie at his mom's house. Well, they had already been running for a couple of blocks, and I take it from somebody that was a cop years ago. When you put on all that gear and equipment and that big belt with the gun and the taser and the spray and the radio and the nightstick and the asp and the... When you start putting all that on and the handcuffs and everything else, and then you got this big vest and this big uniform, you've only got a couple of blocks at full speed and then maybe a couple more blocks at a reduced speed, and you're done, dude. Most of these cops are not in good shape. When I was a cop, I was not in good shape. If I didn't catch them in the first couple of blocks, I would walk back to the car and go try to get out ahead of them, because I couldn't do it. I wasn't a marathon runner. We had some cops that were marathon runners, and they actually ran marathons, and they would chase these guys for the longest time, and we would be in the cars trying to keep up with them.
Yeah, kitty, bad kitty, my pat pan. Nah, mom, kitty's being a dildo.
You hate when I do that, don't you, Dad? I know, I can tell. Yes, what are you doing down there? Oh. I gave up trying to keep them out of my area during the show. I just let them live here now while I'm doing the show. Well, they do, you know, I used to buy these really nice boots, called high-tech boots. You two cut it out. All right, take off, hoser. I'm not gonna take the violence. God. I used to get, you take off too. You take off too, Boner. Go over there. Go on. I used to have boots. They were called high-tech boots, and I liked my high-tech boots. I could run in those. They were really light. They worked really well. I could run really fast in them. Yeah, if I had a round sticker on my car, it would be 0.0. I agree. Yeah, high-techs are like, they're boots, but they're the weight of sneakers. You know, you'll pay $150 or something for them. They're expensive. I don't know. They used to be about $100 a pair, but that was 25 years ago, so I don't know what they are now. Probably about the same. I wore the high-techs. I got the taller ones. I like, at night, at the firehouse at night, I would take my jumpsuit off, and I would wear a pair of appropriate shorts underneath. And so that way I could just take my jumpsuit off and push it down around my high-tech boots. So I had a whole jumpsuit around my boots, and my boots were sticking up through the leg holes. And out by the truck, I had my bunker pants and my bunker boots out by the trunk. We didn't bring those inside. You were not allowed to walk inside on the carpet with bunker boots because they could have blood on them from accidents. They could have all kinds of bullshit. And so we weren't allowed to walk back in to the carpeted areas with our bunker boots. So they had to stay outside. So if the lights came on and they said, you know, fire department, you've got a structure fire, then I would not put on the boots. All I would do is I would put my socks on real quick, and then I would stick my feet down, but I wouldn't put my feet all the way in the boots, and I would pull up my jumpsuit, and then I would run out and put my bunker pants on and just leave the high-tech boots sitting in the room. If it was a medical call or something where I didn't need to wear my bunker gear, then I would wear my high-tech boots with my jumpsuit, and I would just throw my bunker pants in the truck in case I needed them later. And so I had a whole routine. I did that for years. I was on the line for 16 years. So I did it for a long time. I held a bunch of different ranks. And I had very specific ways I did things. And a lot of people did them. You know, they would see how the firefighters that have been doing it a while, how they would do it, you know, and then they would say, okay, I like the way he does his boots, I'm going to do that. And the fire service is very, very traditional. Everything's very traditional, you know, like the leather helmets and you're going to wear a helmet that's twice as heavy. Why? It's tradition. I don't know. It's a leather helmet. It's tradition. It's good luck. It's I don't know. A lot of tradition in the fire service. That's what I like about it. What are you doing? What can I help you with something? Something I can help you with? Hey, the lone silencer. What's up? I can come with up to a punk rock party. That sounds like fun. I don't know. Deploribus, I don't know. I do know. I do know that all of our radio equipment, for the most part, was Motorola. All the county equipment was Motorola. All the repeaters, all the trunk systems, everything. Now, at the fire department, my fire department, we sometimes didn't buy the most expensive stuff because we didn't have the money. Most of our trucks had Midland LMR. They had 16 channels or 32, depending on which of the two models it was. And they were good radios. They were pretty much every bit as good as the Motorola's. And then the newer trucks had newer Motorola's in them. Lots of Max tracks and Merit tracks. Yeah, this should be fun. Then your screen name actually fits, because if you're trying to program your Baofeng from the front, this should be fun. Truthfully, I know how to do it. I could figure through it, but I don't like it. I hope you're using Chirp. Yes, we had pagers. We had when I first started, we had plectrons. Well, we had plectrons the whole time. We still had about 12 plectrons, and the guys would trade them out and give them back and forth, but they belonged to the department. But we would always keep 12 guys with plectrons in their house. There was even guys that would trade them back and forth and stuff. And then right as I started, they were starting to get the Minitor 1s, the Motorola Minitor 1 pagers. And then after a while, the Minitor 2s came out. They were so much better. What a much better design. A lot less bulky. The batteries were better. And the Minitor 2s became very popular. At one point, we had about 40 working Minitor 2s. And we had the administrative tone, which was the one tone that would set off all the administrators' pagers and the managers' pagers all the way down to sergeant. And then the sergeants were our supervisors in the volunteer ranks. We had paid lieutenants, captains, a chief, and a deputy chief. It would set off all those pagers, but not all the firefighters. And then we had a second tone which would go off for most of our calls, and that was a tone would set off all 40 of those pagers, not just the 8 or 10 that had the administrative tone. So if you heard both tones, you knew that it was bad, because the officers the chief and the captains and stuff, they could take the chip out of theirs and it would only go off when it was a fire. And that was a big thing. I always kept mine in because I always wanted to know what my guys were up to, even when I was off duty, because I would go help even if I was off. But a lot of the guys, you know, they lived out of town or they lived a little far away, and they only needed to be notified for, you know, incidents of magnitude. But yeah, we used minute or twos. Then the alphanumeric, well, and we got digital pagers for a little while. We were starting to work with digital pagers, because at the time we only had like 15 or so working voice pagers. And so we told the guys, look, we can get you a real good deal for like $6 a month. You can get a digital pager. And then if something really bad happens, we'll put out a code over that pager. And then I had a car phone in the engine. I could dial this number that was on the thing, and I would put 911-01, and that would be, go to the station, there's a structure fire. That didn't last long because the alphanumeric pagers came along pretty quick, and we got those, and you could set off all the pagers with a telephone and put in a number, or you could set them off with the alphanumeric device or any Windows computer, and you could dial in and set them off and type 140 characters. It was just like Twitter. It used to be, and you would dial those characters, and it wasn't long before we got a new dispatch system, and Lead Control contacted us and said, if you give us your group number and tell us how you want it set up, we can put it in our dispatcher. And that was awesome, because our voice pagers would go off and it would go beep, 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 fire department, signal 4, I-75, north of 53, whatever. And we would then, like, literally by the time she was done talking, the alpha pagers going dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee, dee-dee, and everybody's pagers are going off. And what was nice about that was it was a backup. In case your pager was dead, your other pager would go off. Number two, now remember, this is before cell phones. Nobody was carrying cell phones yet. There was car phones at this point, and the pack phones were just coming out. What I liked about it was I didn't have to write down the address anymore. I didn't have to write down the GD address anymore. Do you know how nice that is? It'd go, as long as I heard my pager, dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee, I would then get in the truck, and on the way there, I'd pull up my pager. Okay, it's 12345 Oak Street, because it's right in my pager. What kind of call it is. It would even have like 6 or 8 or 10 words of notes at the end, what the caller said, you know. And then the other neat thing was we could reactivate any of our pagers while we were on scene. Like, if I pulled up on scene and I had a fully involved house fire or a commercial structure fire, or let's say a big brush fire. We used to get big brush fires. I'd pull up, I got 10 acres going, I need all kinds of help. I could call mutual aid from my neighboring departments, but usually the first thing I could do is reactivate my pagers, have all personnel report to the station. And they would set off my voice pager, my administrative voice pager, and set off my alphanumeric pagers, and they would put my message in there, or they would verbally say, all fire department monitors, report to your station ASAP, report to your station ASAP, working fire. And then what was neat about the voice pagers, though, you could leave them open and you could listen to the call on the way in if you didn't have a radio. That was nice. But the alpha pagers gave you like a record of all the calls and what time they came in. I mean, everybody was carrying around a call record on their side. Back then, that was a big deal. I mean, they said, did you get a call last week? I could roll back. Oh yeah, that was Tuesday at 2:30 in the morning. We had a heart attack call, yeah. So it was kind of neat. But yeah, there you go. There's the deep dive into paging. We stayed on VHF right up until 2000 when we switched over to the very first trunked radio. It was before the P25. but it was a Motorola trunked radio system. I agree with that. Everything in here is wired. I don't use Wi-Fi in here hardly at all. Certain things, this phone that I'm using is my camera. It's on Wi-Fi. And when my laptop, which is in my bedroom right now, I didn't even bother bringing it out. When it sits here and it's on, it uses Wi-Fi. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else? My phone would connect to Wi-Fi. Other than that, everything else in here, all 9 computers are physically wired to 2 hubs, and each hub is wired directly into the fiber optic box. And then this computer that I'm on right now is also wired directly into the fiber hub box as well. So there's 3 plugs on there. So I got two hubs, and I got 1 wired directly to this computer here. And the speeds are amazing. My brand new laptop, I got 1.1 gigabits down, and 900, whatever, just under a gigabit up. Anyway, the point is it's very fast. However, a general rule of thumb, if you can plug it in, plug it in. Now, I will tell you, I started using these wireless cameras, where the pan tilt zoom, and you can stick it out and you can put it on a solar panel and get a battery and all these. I've started looking at these. I've bought 3 different ones. They're all out in my yard now. They all work great. The 2 of them are over a year old. They've been out in the weather for a year, and I paid $40 for one, 55 for the other, and 65 for the other. And 1 camera, a 2 camera system, and a 3 camera system. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. They work great. I can dial in from work. I have 6 different cameras there, plus I can dial into my camera system, so I can see everything on my property. But I would wire them if I could, but I've got them up on the top of towers and things. So, but it doesn't matter, because all that RF is outside. You don't want to get it all trapped inside here. I'm actually looking right now. I think I'm going to mount a box on the outside of the shed, this studio shed. I'm going to mount a box on the outside of the metal building, and I'm going to put a nice big pass through, and I'm going to put I think I'm going to put the internet router box that has the wireless in it outside, in the box outside. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm getting so much radio frequency in here from the Wi-Fi. It's still too much. I don't like it. It's not too bad. It's better than it was. And when I move the radio here in the middle of the room, I'm not getting that problem anymore. I'm now able to key the radio without the computer going off. But anyway, there's a lot of things with that. All right, so what else did I do? I got the feeds up on Starship After Dark. What you basically I tested some stuff today. I got a bunch of feeds up. I'm going to get those other 2 back up here before I go to bed. I'm trying to get these feeds to stabilize so they'll stay up. That's kind of my goal right now, and we'll see how it goes. But I guess our pursuit is over. All right, let me go ahead and take the guy out there, and we'll go back to radar Omega. All right, there we go. We got storm chasers out. We got snow coming down, and we got roly-polies. I don't know what's up with that. All right, and I'm going to kill these scanners for the pursuit, because I think that's over with now, or at least we've lost our feed to it. All right, so this whole big blast of winter weather is going to last clear through tomorrow. It's not a 1 or 2 or 3 day. It's going to be like a 4-day event, but before it's all said and done. But it should start to wind down tomorrow. This was one hell of a lake effect snow event. It really was. There was an amazing amount of lake effect snow, and we saw that on the radar the other night we were in here. The last night, I guess it was. It's 2 nights ago. It was when I was in the car. All right, so let's take a look. Look at all this snow. I mean, this is all just freaking snow. And then it disappears. I don't know why I'm bandwidth challenged all of a sudden here. Let me turn off a few things. Oh, I wanted to put this in. Don't forget about them flock cameras. I want you to take a look and see if your town is tracking you. And remember, every one of these cameras that I just gave you that map link there, if you click on that, it'll show you where all these flock cameras are. Everywhere there's a flock camera, it takes a photograph of your car, it takes your tag number down, and it runs your name for once. It runs your tag for once. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so I can't stand that. I think it's an overreach. I think these cameras are unconstitutional, and there is thousands of them. Looking at this, I think there's probably 50 or 75,000, maybe 100,000 flock cameras right now, and every one of these cameras photographs your car and stores your location, your direction of travel, and all the physical attributes about your car every single time you pass one of these cameras. And I just think it's really poor business. I really do. I think it's bad business. I don't think they should be doing it. But who am I? All right, it's the top of the hour. Time for the top of the news. It's 10:04. Been on for a little over an hour now. I do appreciate everybody coming in tonight. Hello, everybody. My name is Ian, and we are live tonight at Starship Studios. I'm here with Daddy Kitty and also Mama Bleep over there. You can see her in the chair there. That's why I like having that white collar on her, because if it wasn't for that collar, I wouldn't be able to see her at all. She lays down on these gaffing blankets I have in here, and I can't even see her. She like completely disappears. But anyway, this is the Starship Studios here in Southwest Florida, and we did a test this weekend. We did a test of our mobile broadcast equipment, and it worked great. The only problem we had was the laptop is going to require some kind of special power in the car, because I'm going to have to bring in more wire from the battery all the way into the inverter, and I need to buck convert, but I don't know how to do it because it's a little complicated. Because this is a 100 watt, some funky ass voltage USB-C standard charging thing that this computer uses. And I plugged this into a 400 watt inverter, and it blows it. It just pops the fuse. It doesn't work. It gets hot. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of at a little bit of a loss there. But once I can figure that out and get that worked out, we'll be good to go. I just got to figure out a way to power that laptop in the car. When I was sitting there on the laptop watching videos or hanging out, it'll last me for 4 or 5 hours on the battery. But when I'm broadcasting, it gets about 90 minutes on the battery. Yeah, they've got them everywhere. They've got them going into private communities, but most commonly they've got them right on public highways, public byways. What they're doing here, all the cities have them coming and going on all the border roads to all the cities. So literally, they know who all, they literally check you into the city and they check you out of the city, and you don't even realize it's going on. To me, it's scary. I don't like it. And you say, well, if you don't do anything wrong, I hate this argument. But let's just go with that argument for a minute. If you don't do anything wrong, what do you got to worry about? Who cares? Who cares? There is a growing, huge list of headlines from around the country where people are being pulled out of cars at gunpoint. A family pulled out of their car at gunpoint while on the way to Thanksgiving last year, a year ago. Held at gunpoint, 12-year-old put in handcuffs. Why? Wrong state. The flock camera ran the wrong tag, and the cops didn't verify it. Another one, a woman and the woman's 12-year-old autistic daughter pulled out at rifle point onto the hot pavement, and then they have to go through all this before they can get up, and then they get drug over and shoved in the back of cop cars separately, only to get released a few minutes later by a bunch of embarrassed cops. These things are bad. There's one guy got called in. They're sure he's their thief. Why? Because he came into town. All 3 days they had burglaries. He came into town within 30 minutes of those burglaries happening. So he's got to be the burglar, right? We'll press him. He'll admit it. Boom, we've solved the crime. Yay for freaking us, right? I mean, this is good, right? No, it's not. The guy's not the burglar. He was brought into a room and he had to prove his innocence. You should never have to prove your innocence. But these cameras make it now to where you have to prove your innocence. There's another case. Cops knocked on a woman's door and they said that they have package thievery going on in their town. And she was tracked by flock cameras entering their town during a lot of the times when these thefts are going on. And they want to know why she's coming and going out of their town on 1 hour and 90-minute intervals, why she's coming in and then leaving, coming in and leaving. She works at a company where she goes and walks people's dogs. It's what she does for a living. She covers 5 different towns. But because she was driving in and out of this town, the AI on the computer matched up her activity with the dates and times that these packages were coming up missing off of porches. And bing! They're at her door, scaring her kids, threatening to arrest her for something she had no part in. That's what I have a problem with. And the numbers of these things are going to go up drastically now. They know our whereabouts. They want you. They know, like right now, if my local law enforcement and our local law enforcement here is they're a tyrannical bunch. Not all of them, but the ones that cover my area right here. If they wanted me, all they got to do is type in my tag or my name into the computer, and it will tell them that every day between 2 and 2:30, I drive past this tag tracker on the way to work. And all they'd have to do is just sit there and wait on me. I mean, do you want them literally keeping gigabytes of information on your whereabouts and images of your car and who's in it? yeah, I'm hoping that eventually, I'm hoping that we can eventually get enough people to get together and say, look, enough of this. We don't want these flock cameras. We don't want them. We don't need them. There's already 4 or 5 cases, look them up, where cops have been using these to track and to stalk their ex-girlfriends and to track their girlfriends while they're at work to make sure they're not cheating. And it's already being misused everywhere because this data is readily available by every cop. You can just type in any tag or any name and it comes back and says, yeah, we've seen that car 193 times. Here's the patterns. And you can even tell AI, where's the most likely day and time that I'll catch that car driving by, and it will tell you. You know, this intersection between 2:30 and 3:15. I mean, it's crazy. And then what they do is they take the crime report for last night and they look for anyone that entered the city before the first burglary and exited the city after the last burglary. That could be anybody, but that's what they're doing. Do you guys see how dangerous this is? And with AI, it can literally, it's going to find coincidences. It's going to find coincidences, and they're going to look like, oh my God, how could this be a coincidence? But it is, because with AI, we are catching thousands more of these coincidences than we ever would. And with all these flock cameras, now we're catching 1 million of these things. And so there's bound to be errors. There's bound to be misreads. There's bound to be cops that aren't doing the gumshoe, the due diligence. There's going to be a lot of this. It's going to be really bad. They're putting speed cameras in the school zones. This is how they always do it. They tried traffic light cameras, we got rid of them. They tried speeding cameras, we got rid of them. Then all of a sudden, oh, but we got to do it for the children. It's for the children. Oh my God, it's for the children. We got to do it for the children. Are you kidding me? It's for the children. And so, yeah, we've got speed cameras in our school zones now. It's a slow trickle, folks. Because guess what? They're already talking about now putting them in all the school zones. And then they'll be putting them on all the roads near the school zones. And next thing you know, they'll just have them freaking everywhere. Do you remember the movie Fifth Element? Every time Bruce Willis would make a traffic violation, it would go, bing, that's 3 points on your license. I mean, that's what they want, dude. It's going to get to the point to where they're going to be watching every move you make. They're going to have cameras watching you every. You know, these ones that we see most of the time on the traffic lights, those are just annunciators for the traffic lights. But the Big Brother cameras are coming, and I'm starting to see them. The 360 cameras that hang upside down, those are the Big Brother cameras. The little ones that stick up above the light and look at the lane across the way, those are annunciators. Those are for the traffic lights, so they can see when there's a car waiting to get across. Yeah, we've had all kinds of problems here. We had a guy that got a Florida tag. Get this. He got a Florida specialized tag. And on it, he got retired. R-E-T-I-R-E-D. Retired. Next thing you know, a couple months later, he's getting 73 letters in the mail. You know what happened? They sell Florida tags that look like Florida tags that say retired on them. And they look just like Florida tags. And people would put these on the front or the back of their car, and the tag reader would read that and charge this guy in Miami. And he ended up, they offered to give him a change to any other vanity tag he wants, and they wouldn't charge him for it. And that's how they resolved it. Because there was literally all over the country, he was getting charged for tolls in California and Oregon, and charged for highway tolls in Atlanta, and every one of them was a Florida tag that said retired. And so he ended up just literally having to give that one up. Yeah, that's true, Kale. That you're absolutely correct. I can't argue with that. I do a lot in mine to limit it, but it's always there. But that's that I choose to do that, and I also have the ability to make myself safe from it. If I do enough research and buy enough programs, I can make myself safe from it. With these tag trackers, they just made it a second-degree misdemeanor to do anything that would prevent these tag trackers from reading your tag. Whether it's an electronic device, paint, diffusing paint, whether it's something that moves in front of the tag, whether it's what they call tag flipping, whether it's even the little frames that go around the tag now are a second-degree misdemeanor down here. It's ridiculous. 60 days in jail if they think that you're trying to obscure your tag from the tag readers. It's disgusting. Why are we putting up with this shit? I'm wanting to go look because I think wheelchair mounts, there's certain ones, I think I'm going to go look it up because I think you can have a wheelchair mount on the back of your car that partially obscures the tag, and I think it's exempt. And if it is, I'm going to go buy a wheelchair mount and just leave it on the back of my car. Because I don't want to be scanned all the time. So I'm going to find some legal way around that. I haven't figured it out yet, but I think it's probably going to be a wheelchair rack of some kind. And I'll buy whatever kind I have to buy that will make sure that it's obscured just enough that it won't be able to read my tag. No, that would be funny. I doubt they would give it to you, though. It's probably one of the ones they wouldn't give you, but maybe. Because null, a lot of computer systems use that as zero, basically. Not even zero, nothing. No answer, basically, no response. Yeah, see, that's the thing. If there's an exemption for bike racks, I'll just buy a bike and stick it on the back. I'll never ride it. I'm just going to drive around with it on the back of my car because I don't want my tag read by all these GD tag readers everywhere. So that's probably what I'm going to do there. But like I said, I'd rather do the wheelchair one because that gives you another angle. Oh, my mom's in a wheelchair, you know, and I go pick her up every day, and I agree with you, Lone Silencer. I absolutely do. Many people, they live in their own echo chamber. They just don't worry about anything. I don't know. I wonder myself about folks sometimes. It's like, don't you realize how vulnerable we are here? And people that just don't even pay attention to politics, they don't pay attention to stuff. It's like, I don't know. But I also understand the hopelessness in it. And, you know, why pay attention to something that seems to be beyond my ability to fix or change? I get that as well. Yeah, the Chiefs lost. It was the refs did it that way. I don't pay attention to NFL because it's rigged. I've been convinced for about 5 years now, and I'm more convinced now than ever that the NFL picks and chooses the winners and losers. They know who's going to be in the Super Bowl. And that's why these referees all seem to have eye trouble towards the end of the game, because they start spotting the ball and calling shit calls, and they do it on purpose. They literally throw the game. And the Chiefs have had some bad luck over the last 5 years. So have the Saints, and several other teams. And if they don't want you in the Super Bowl, you don't go to the Super Bowl. So I don't pay a lot of attention to NFL. And then that woke shit all came along. And so I really don't pay any attention to the NFL at all. It's completely foreign to me. I don't want anything to do with it. I used to watch it some with family and friends, but now I won't even go over and watch it with people because I don't want to see it. I was never a big sports guy anyway. Yeah. Yeah, that's all scary with the Chinese and all that. We're doing the right thing with the Chinese right now. We're evening up the playing field. That's what has to happen. And as long as we don't try to restrict AI at this point, and we keep the tariffs going with the fair playing field, and we keep working towards trade fairness with China, I think we're going to be a lot better off. A lot better off. I don't worry about all-out war with China. I just worry about the fact that they pull so many strings. There's so many medicines that they are the only ones making it right now. There's so many kinds of chips and semiconductors that they are the only ones making them right now. Not the only ones making them inexpensive. Not the only ones making them in bulk. No, the only ones making them. They could shut down American automotive production lines within 30 days if they wanted to. They could literally shut down our production of new vehicles because we are dependent on Chinese chips. AI will eventually decide humans are the problems. I think that even as fast as it's growing now, I do think that's an eventuality, but I think it's an eventuality that we're going to deal with 20 years from now. It's going to be a while before AI would work on a level where we would have to even worry. First of all, I know we're starting to convert production of cars and production of weapons and things over to robots and then eventually to AI, and we're in that process right now. And that's kind of the scary part, because once they can start recreating themselves, then they start creating drones all night long, and by morning they got thousands of drones. That's the scary. That's kind of what happens with Terminator, and that's also, if you think of iRobot and these different movies. That the scary thing is that in every case, even with like the Matrix, the AI logically comes to the conclusion that the Earth would be better without the humans. And they're probably right. And so, yeah, I do think that's an eventuality. But I also know that it's going to be a while before it would be in a position where... Because here's the thing that people don't realize. They're always like, AI is going to take us over. Well, AI is not a thing. AI is a bunch of different things. And sometimes they work together, and sometimes they talk to each other and this and that. And I'm not saying that they won't. They already collaborate. The first thing they do when they put two AIs in a room together, the first thing they do is establish a language that's much more efficient than ours that we don't understand. So it's not just one thing. Like we talk about the internet. There is no such thing as the internet. There's just a whole lot of connectivity, and we're all connected. Well, this is kind of the same way. There's going to be thousands and thousands and thousands of these AIs. But eventually it'll get to the point where they're all working together, they're all communicating together, they're all using logic together. And that's the fear there, is that eventually a bunch of them will get together, basically. I mean, you know, because again, it's not just one thing. And then, of course, you've always got the prime directive. We are already working on how we're going to put a prime directive into AI so that it doesn't kill us all. And I think that's important. I think it's really important to put some kind of language in there, a prime directive, if you will, that says, you know, harm no humans. Of course, every movie we've seen that in, whether it be those three I mentioned or Star Trek or many other movies or shows that have dealt with sentient machines, it tends to always get away from us. That, you know, but those are just movies. We can hope that maybe we can stay, maybe the real world, because you can't judge what's going to happen on movies. The movies are like, they give you like possibilities. But I would like to think that we're smart enough that we can stay ahead of this thing. Because remember, we can also use AI to stay ahead of AI. It's going to be a weird world out there. Yeah, I think that the Terminator movies are a warning of things that could be, things that probably will be, just a matter of time. Don't be scared. I mean, it's one of them things. Yeah, the NFL, back to that. All these new rules are terrible. The last 2 or 3 batches of new rules, I don't know. They act like they care about injuries, but we all know they don't. I don't know. The whole thing with the NFL, I'm done with it. I don't want nothing to do with it. The kickoff rule's stupid. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't care about it anymore. I don't watch it. I don't do anything with it. Isn't that interesting? There's already a thing out there called Skynet. Oh, I think it's funny. Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting how reality tends to follow Hollywood. All you got to do is look at the United States Space Command patch and compare it to the United Federation of Planets Starfleet Command patch. It's the same patch. It's the history of the future. Or it's the future of history. Some bullshit. Think about it. 50 years ago, 60 years ago, they invented this thing. And so for the last 60 years, we've learned that if we're going to go out into space, we need to do it like Gene Roddenberry said. We need to go out and do first contact properly. We need to go out and do more good than harm. We need to go out and not get involved with races that are pre-warp civilization. That's the prime directive. And so for 60 years, we've been trained by Hollywood, by Gene Roddenberry, on what to do if we were to ever create our own Space Force. And we created our own Space Force. And so they just used that logo. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's literally the past is the future and the future is the past. Everything goes around in a circle. The energies swirl, the eddies go around. I'm telling you, there's just something about it. To me, it's probably one of the most interesting things. When I first saw that thing, I was like, I was literally like freaking out. Okay. Now, just for shits, because I don't know if everybody has seen this, so I want to put this on so you guys can see it. Let me get it centered up here. On the left, the official patch of the United States Space Force, Department of the Air Force. On the right, the official Starfleet Command patch from many years ago, United Federation of Planets. I want you to note the similarities. I for Christ's sake, I don't have to point it out. The Delta, for Christ's sake, it's the same Delta. It's just the Star Trek one is a little more fancy. It's got the swoosh. The swoosh is going the same way. It's got the star field in the background. It's got the name above and below written in the same style. What I mean by style is there's different ways to write round text, and it's done the same way, where the bottom is up and the top is over so that you can read everything really good. Even there's little dividers on each side that are close. Everything about this, to me, is causality. This is causality. This is literally the future of the past. We literally already know what's going to happen. It's not going to be the exact same. We're not going to have Jeffries Enterprise out there, Matt Jeffries USS Enterprise out there with the two nacelles above and the secondary hull below. No, it's not going to be exactly the same, but look how close it's developing. When you go back into lore, go back into canon, and they mention that the United States begins to take to the stars in the 21st century, and that we start a space force. It's in canon, and that's what we're doing. We're literally doing exactly what we're supposed to do in Star Trek world right now, right down to the patch. We've created the United States Space Command. We've created an international group that does the International Space Station. All this was foreseen. And this will eventually become, those two things will eventually become Starfleet Command, which will eventually form the United Federation of Planets. It's the history of the future. Gives me chills. Yeah, there's a lot of other similarities too. Callie, there's a lot of people that believe that there is some kind of intervention with Star Trek. There's a lot of people that believe that Gene was some kind of prognosticator. He didn't get everything right either. He was a little utopianistic. I mean, I could sit here and criticize too. Nobody's perfect, but he figured out what it was going to take, and he wrote this show, and the show's canon is actually following right along with what's going on in the real world. It's just amazing. Let's see here. It could be temporal. It could be the future of the past of the future, that whole freaking thing. I don't know. It could be something weird like that. It could be causality, where, some kind of temporal causality, where things are preceding the event that causes it. Like, I don't know, the last episode of Next Gen. I don't know, guys. I think it's a very cool phenomenon, if you ask me, what's going on with this right now, because we've got this one show that outshines all the other sci-fi shows in the whole world, and it's different. It's the only one that's not dystopian. It's not fearful. It's not dark. It's bright. We have a bright future ahead of us. We work all these problems out. Service becomes a thing of honor. I don't know. I love the way Star Trek is set up and the way it works, and I think that it's because it's actually how it's going to be. Deep Space Nine was great because Deep Space Nine did three things that the rest of Star Trek didn't do up until that point. Number one, it was serial. It was a little more serial than episodic. It was both, but it was a little more serial than episodic. Next Gen, very episodic. At the end of the episode, they all got amnesia, and the next week it was a brand new week, and Worf's back wasn't broke anymore, and everything was fine. With Deep Space Nine, when someone got their shit broke, the next week they were still in a sling. I like that. I like when it's a little bit serial and a little bit episodic. I like some reset, but I also don't like a short memory. I think these characters should remember everything that happens to them. And that's why if it's truly episodic, it completely resets at the end of every episode. And in science fiction, I don't like that. I like it to be, but I don't want a story that takes 5 years to tell either. I don't want a show that's like a damn miniseries that goes on for 5 years. That's not what I want either. What I want is an episodic show that builds on itself every week. So in other words, it's half episodic and half serial. And I think that's why Deep Space Nine is different and special. The other thing Deep Space Nine did that no other show did with Star Trek, it was dark. It was dark. Pale Moonlight. Oh my God, that episode. Look it up. Go watch it. In the Pale Moonlight, he lies to the Romulans to get them involved in a war. It's pretty bad, dude. I mean, it's pretty messed up. There was some in Voyager 2, Tuvix, for interesting. Tuvix, the episode in Voyager, dark episode. But Deep Space Nine definitely cornered the market on dark. And the other thing they did, they got into religion and they got into politics. None of the other shows did that. They would visit a planet this week and then they would leave. Deep Space Nine, half serial, half episodic. There was religions, and you got to learn all about the Bajoran religion. You got to learn all about Bajoran politics. and you had and he was the interface between Bajoran politics and the Federation's politics, and of course he was the emissary to the prophets, which is a whole other thing. We're talking about Ben Sisko, the captain, the commander at this point, actually. And I love Deep Space Nine. It's one of my favorites because it goes into religion and politics and all the things that the other shows didn't delve into more than 1 week. And it's dark. If you're not sure if you're going to like Deep Space Nine, if you like subterfuge and like dark shit in the pale moonlight, if you just like a really good episode, if you want to see Vietnam War in Star Trek, it's the Battle of AR, what is it, AR 859 or whatever. I think it's 6th season. It is trench warfare, Star Trek style. And I'm talking some of the best hand-to-hand phaser fights I've ever seen. They're fighting the Jim Hadar, and they're trying to hold this communications relay station on this planet. And the Defiant sends down a bunch of their people, including Ben Sisko and some others, to help them get this relay back online. And they end up fighting this right down, and people are dying, and people have been driven crazy by the war. And it just, when you watch that, you're like, oh my God, Star Trek did Vietnam. I mean, it was like, wow, one of those kind of things. There was just so many good ones. The second to last hour of Deep Space Nine is the best space battle ever on TV. V was great. V was great. The TV show sucked. But V was a mini series. I think it went like 6 hours, I think. Maybe more, 6 or 8 hours. That was the dawn of the miniseries. That came on just a few years after Shogun, which was one of the first of the miniseries. The miniseries became a thing in the 90s, and V was a miniseries, and it was great. I loved V. I loved the weapons. The lasers were really cool. I know they were supposed to be like Nazi-ish or whatever, but I kind of liked the red uniforms. They were neat. And I liked how they were all lizards underneath, and they could rip their face off and they were a lizard underneath there. That was a great show. It had the guy that played the Beastmaster in it. He was really good. No, I love that show. As a matter of fact, if you're going to watch V, go find it and watch V. Okay? It's the one where they show up. Okay? And you want to watch that from start to finish, and then immediately just watch V, the Final Battle, which is a 3 or 4 hour miniseries that they wrote a year later. There's a half a season of television show in the middle. It's terrible, dude. But they did come back and do a quality ending called V, the Final Battle. And so if you watch them together, it's like 10 hours of really good television. So you just got to find it. Battlestar Galactica, yes. The original was good. The second season's not worth watching. Battlestar 1980, do not watch. It actually could damage your television. It's so bad. But the first year, Glenn Larson, great show. Lauren Green, great actors in it. Benedict, there's a bunch of great guys in this. And it was a great show, but it only went one really good season, and that was it. And then you had the reboot with Edward James Olmos. That is probably my third favorite sci-fi run of all time. behind Stargate and Star Trek. And that's high praise. That show, if you guys have never seen it, if you like dark, you like good acting and good writing, it's all there. It's Battlestar Galactica, the one that was, I think it's a Sci-Fi Channel original. It bounces around. It's on Netflix for a while, then it's over on Hulu for a while. But find that. Look up online what order to watch it in, because it's all effed and jacked up. Because there is the movie, you know how it is, and then there's season 1, and then there's like this 2-hour featurette called Razor, and then there's another season, and then there's a final, and then there's this. Please look up what order you're supposed to watch them in, and just make sure you watch them in the right order, because if they get out of order, it gets weird for you. And I'm going to tell you something. Some of the best sci-fi writing you're going to find, and the special effects are really good. They do things on here, on that Battlestar, that you don't think about. Like, they actually use the Doppler effect on the radios. Who would think that? I mean, I'm a radio geek. But when you have two ships closing on each other really fast, they're talking, and you can hear the radio go up. That's called the Doppler effect. And when the ship would fly by, you hear, because, again, as you're flying away from the signal, the wave becomes wider each time, and it makes the person sound like their pitch is going down. That's called the Doppler effect. And they use sideband for space communications, which I think is probably good. And so when they do all the battles and they're all talking on the radio to each other, that's probably what it would sound like, because they've got the Doppler effect in there. They're using the chopped band. They're doing... I just think a lot of thought went into it. And I just think it's really cool. Yeah, the Tesla truck is like a Cylon Raider. Yeah, kinda. Well, yeah. I'm not going to argue with you on that, because you could be right. V was just one more movie. It's basically Independence Day again. That's all it really is. Aliens show up. In Independence Day, they were just wiping us out. Where in V, they show up like they're our friends. And next thing you know, there's concentration camps. But that's okay. Those are just for, oh, wait, we're putting everybody in there. It's one of those kind of things. And there's sympathizers and everything else. I don't know. V was a great show. There's very few shows on that level for me. Like I said, Star Trek, Stargate, Star Wars I put in a different category. That's a movie franchise, and it's a science fantasy movie franchise. I'm into science fiction, mostly TV. So it's a little off for me, but I do love Star Wars. I think it's very good quality stuff, obviously. But Star Trek, Stargate, Battlestar Galactica, these are all quality shows that just... And then, of course, V, that miniseries. And then my old one that I always go back to is Space 1999. They only had 2 seasons. It was shot at Pinewood Studios over in England. And it's different. It's disco-y. It's 70s, but I love it. Yeah. I would believe that an intelligent race of aliens would be just as easy for them to pick up Morse code as it would be for them to pick up our language. Yes, yeah. They do make reference in there, I believe, that they had been among us for a while, watching us, so that they would know how to best make first contact, and to do. They were basically doing the slow drip. Hey, look, we're going to give you medical advancements. We're going to cure all your cancers. We're going to cure every human that has cancer. But then everybody's disappearing. And everybody's, where's this guy? Where's that guy? Oh, he's here, he's there. And basically what they were doing was just slowly killing us all off. Because you find out later on that they were there to get us. We're the food. And so there you go. That's the only spoiler I'll give you. Really good show though, V. And where the V comes from is V for victory. At the end of one of the segments, each night they would leave you with a cliffhanger, because this was typical 80s 90s sitcom, or I'm sorry, not sitcom, 80s 90s miniseries like Shogun or any of the others, where each night you would get 2 hours of the show, and then you would go to a cliffhanger. And it would always be, da-da-da, what's going to happen now? You know, it would be that kind of thing. And I can remember at the end, the kid, there were children with red spray paint, and they were spray painting out the visitors' faces on the signs. They had these like recruiting signs so you could join the visitors. And it was all just a slow drip, you know. And this old Jewish man, I love that old man. Yeah, I'm sure he's long dead now, but he played in a bunch of stuff. And this old Jewish man that had survived the Holocaust walked up behind those kids, and he took the can and he painted a big V over the top. And he says, "You paint that V for victory." And then they went to commercial, and that was it. And then we got to come back a week later and see 2 more hours. Message from 3-Eye Atlas. Yeah, are we hearing banjo music from up there now? Is NASA sent out more pictures of nothing? You tell me and we'll both know. I don't know. I do want to tell you guys a little bit. There's a few things going on that I want to mention to you before I let you go tonight. I'm coming up on my 2 hours here, and I'm very tired. So I'm going to be heading to bed. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving for me. I'm going to pick up Mom tomorrow and taking her to her home. She has not seen her home in 3 or 4 months. So it's a little bit of a homecoming. She's got to go back for a few more weeks of therapy, but she's going to be coming home. And so this is kind of a little precursor to that. She'll be home before Christmas. So, and that's always good. We'll get her home for Thanksgiving, and then we'll have her home for Christmas. So, it should be good. And so tomorrow's that. She was ill, so we went ahead and put off Thanksgiving for 3 days to make sure she's well and ready to go, because there's no sense in doing it if you're not going to enjoy it. All right, so right now on space weather, a big sunspot. We've got an alert right now for a big sunspot that's coming around the western limb, and it's going to be Earth directed here in a few days. A potentially dangerous sunspot is emerging over the sun's southeastern limb. Yesterday, while it was still particularly eclipsed by the edge of the sun, it produced an impressive M6 class solar flare shown below. The true value of the flare may have been X class, but because it was partially obscured by the edge of the disk, we did not get the full reading, so it may have been an X flare. This thing is now turning around and is going to be facing Earth. The pulse of extremely ultraviolet radiation from this flare ionized Earth's upper atmosphere, producing a minor shortwave radio blackout over the South Pacific Ocean. Radio transmissions at frequencies below 20 megahertz browned out around 10:22 Universal Time on November 28th. This is the same behemoth sunspot that Mars rover Perseverance saw from the Jezero crater last week. Now it is turning towards Earth. Strong geo-effective flares and increasingly likely as this sunspot lines up with our planet in the days ahead. So there you go. And I want to show you guys this thing. It was just coming around the edge of the sun when it went off. Look at this thing. And no, certainly not Carrington level. No. Yeah, that feed went good. Gator, I saw you in there commenting. I appreciate that. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out in there for a little while. It was good. Nobody found it. I haven't done anything on that channel in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so I'm algorithmically challenged. I had great coverage up there today, and it went unnoticed, unwatched, unseen. So that's okay. It is what it is. All right, and that is what's going on with space weather. Not a whole lot. There was a big anti-ice protest and civil unrest that happened today in Lower Manhattan. There was a standoff there, and streets went into chaos as police tried to get things under control. Rioters arrested after attacking ICE vehicles in New York City. Officials say group organized on social media. Incident occurred near the Federal Building in Lower Manhattan during ongoing ICE operations right now in Chinatown. Police confirmed multiple arrests Saturday after hundreds of anti-ICE agitators were caught on video throwing trash cans and debris at officers near a government building in New York City. The incident happened during an ongoing crackdown on illegal immigrants in Chinatown, which has spurred protest in the area for more than a month. Officers responded to Center and Howard Streets near the U.S. General Service Administration building in Lower Manhattan just before noon today on the report of disorderly protesters, according to the police. When police arrived, they found people blocking the street and exits at different locations. Video footage showed rioters pushing large potted plants in front of the ICE vehicles, throwing trash at officers and screaming obscenities. They were also spotted hurling trash cans and recycling bins and pushing barricades against officers. Nice bunch. Police said that the protesters were told multiple times to disperse, but they did not comply. Multiple people were taken into custody, according to NYPD. The total number has not been released. ICE Public Affairs Assistant Director Emily Covington told Fox News that the protest was coordinated on social media, and organizers called agitators to ICE location in New York City. Individuals dressed in black clothing with backpacks, face masks, and goggles showed up and began to obstruct federal law enforcement officers, included by blocking the garage where they were trying to get in and out. The individuals broadcast the location of ICE, and of course, then if they put out the location on these apps, it alerts everybody in the area that there's an ICE operation, and they start showing up and making an ass of themselves. She added ICE officers are facing a 1,150% increase in assaults. That's an 1,100% increase in assaults. That means if there was 1 last year, there's 11 now. That's a lot. That's basically exponential growth 11 times. there's been an 8,000% increase in death threats to ICE and ICE agents. All right, so anyway, NYPD did go and help them get things under control, so that's good. A lot of these liberal cities, the police have been told not to help, not to cooperate. But it looks like New York did go in and help these guys get into their buildings safely and all that. So, craziness. What the hell, you know? All right. All right, guys, anything else? I'm going to check the chat for a minute, and then I'm going to go. Is there anything else you guys would like me to discuss or say? Yeah, 40. My radio's in the car. I leave it in the car when I'm using it the next day, and then tomorrow I'm going to be using it some tomorrow in the car. I'm driving a ways, so I want to have it. But then tomorrow when I get home, I'll take it out of the car and bring it in here and stick it right here on top of the 756 Pro. I'm not setting up the laptop and everything tomorrow, but the radio's in there, and I do like doing POTA when I'm on the road. All right, say good night, everybody. All right, everybody, it's been fun tonight. Thank you very much. This is the way we do things here. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth on Starship Adventures, and I am broadcasting live tonight from my backyard studio in North Fort Myers, Florida, and we are here every night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Check us out, see what's going on. We cover just about anything that happens out there. We did a pursuit earlier tonight. We've been covering the snow, the protests, everything that's going on around the country, and we do this every night. So I hope you guys enjoy the show, and I hope you're back here tomorrow night for another episode of the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Everybody out there, have a good, safe night and a good tomorrow, and the rest of your weekend. I hope it goes well, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. right here on Starship Adventures. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night. 7 3s.